we work with health benefits leaders and their advisors. A lot of times it's insurance brokers. We help them take the data that they have about their employees and members. So in our vernacular, a member is, so let's say you're the employee and you have your family is on your plan. So all of those extended people that are on your plan are the plan members. So we help those companies, those employers use their data to get better insights about all their employees and members.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, this is Max Pittman with WriteForMe, and you're listening to another episode of the Business Ninjas podcast. We meet the experts who are making things happen and scaling their businesses, and today we're talking about Springbuk with Mr. David Pittman, who is the Director of Content and Digital Marketing at Springbuk. David, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I've been on the other side of podcasting, but I've never been on this side of the mic, so I'm happy to give this a whirl.
Always happy to chat with another Pittman. And for the record, we are not related, just last name. And I'm excited to talk about Springbuk. You guys are in the health analytics software space. Company's around since 2015. So excited to jump into what's going on there at the organization, specifically in marketing and how you guys are growing. But before we jump in to Springbuk, our Business Ninjas community is built of entrepreneurs, executives, and sales and marketing leaders like yourself. So I'd love to, just kind of give you the floor to tell the community a little bit about yourself and maybe a couple of things you're focused on right now at Springbuk.
Sure. I have a circuitous route to get here. I think I went to college to be an English teacher, but after 1 year, I determined that was plenty of that. And I've always been a tech geek, kind of an early adopter on everything from early computers to early handheld devices. And so I was living in Chicago at the time and wanted to get into technology. I found this great little startup company at about 50 people at the time called SPSS. Hopefully some of your users or listeners have used that in college, most likely, statistical analysis. And that company grew and grew. I loved it. And, lo and behold, 30 plus years later, I'm still in technology, still loving it and having a great time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the route. It's funny, like lots of people will maybe change careers and go into teaching, do something a little bit more meaningful. And I was kind of in your space as well, thinking maybe I was going to be a teacher, coach coming out of college, and decided I needed to get into business myself. So I can see your path very clearly and why you wanted to kind of get into a newer, growing, innovative type space. So you've been there, right, for a little bit, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're in marketing, so I'm sure, you've imagined pitching an idea on Shark Tank or maybe even being, the shark yourself potentially. So I'd love it if you can give me Springbuk's elevator pitch. What challenge does your, company solve?
Yeah, so we work with health benefits leaders and their advisors. A lot of times it's insurance brokers. We help them take the data that they have about their employees and members. So in our vernacular, a member is, so let's say you're the employee and you have your family is on your plan. So all of those extended people that are on your plan are the plan members. So we help those companies, those employers use their data to get better insights about all their employees and members, and then modify the benefits programs that they offer with the ultimate goal of reducing risk to the company while helping their employees and their members become more healthy and avoid as much cost as they can.
Interesting. So your solution is really there to help, obviously, help health, promote growth, ensure they have a healthy workforce, but also to ensure they're taking care of their employees too, right? So what are some of those use cases that companies will come to you guys that you're solving for specifically? What types of challenges, are you guys hearing?
Yeah, well, these days cost containment is top of mind. Actually, I said these days, but every day. I think for years and years, cost containment has been a major issue. We all know the cost of healthcare have done nothing but accelerate over the past forever. So they're trying to keep the costs in line. But as we all know, the employment market has changed dramatically in the last 3 years, and companies are struggling to find the talent that they need and want, and then keep them. On the other side, the employees, they understand this, so they are shopping around. They're seeing what benefits can I get here? What are the best programs for me? What provides the most flexibility? So all those things, cost containment, certainly flexibility of packages and programs. And then the other big issue that employers are dealing with is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we're helping in all those areas, just pulling data in from all the different sources and vendors that employers are using on their health programs and helping them find the best mix.
Makes sense. So I assume there's a pretty wide reach of types of companies that you're partnering with, but would you say that there are any, top verticals that you guys tend to partner with, or is it pretty diverse when it comes to who your customers are?
Yeah, it is really diverse. We have more than 4,900 employer clients, and spanning almost every industry, quite honestly. We're big in financial services. That's one of our main verticals, I would say. Healthcare itself is a big one for us because health systems have been undergoing a lot of merger and acquisitions. So the health systems are quite large these days. They have a large number of employees that they have to take care of, so that those employees can then take care of you and me. But our sweet spot is really employers with 5,000 or more employees. We do have many smaller than that, but 5,000 and up is probably our target.
Gotcha. Okay. And who, like, within those organizations, like, are you guys typically talking to? Like, what, because I'm assuming they're coming to you guys with a challenge, right? Like, so what is it, that HR department that is the one that you guys are focused on, or is it like the, people teams, community teams? What would you say the focus is?
Yeah, so HR and people teams, in the size that we're dealing with here, 5,000 or 10,000 especially and up, they usually have someone who is, their focus is benefits. So we are targeting those benefits leaders. In the 5,000 and certainly smaller, they may not have a dedicated person. They may have a Jack or Jill of all trades who wears many different hats, benefits being among them. But anyone who is in the benefit space is our target person.
Makes sense. Yep. So it sounds like, you guys are a lot like a bunch of other benefits type companies out there. Like, I don't want to put you guys in a box. I almost want you to like separate yourself from the competitions. Like, what is that like secret sauce? Like, tell me why would a customer choose you guys over the competition?
Yeah, that's a fairly easy one, actually. This space has been around a long time, but the difference from Springbuk and some of the others that have been around a long time is we are young and nimble. They grew up years ago, and their interface is tired these days. They don't have as much flexibility because their programs have been around and coded in ancient languages, ancient for these days. So they just aren't able to respond as quickly. We, on the other hand, have cutting edge technology, really bright engineers. We have top-notch clinicians and PhD scientists and data analysts, all of whom contribute to how the program looks, how the platform looks, how it performs, what data we can pull in, how we can manipulate that data once it's in the system. So it's just far more robust and agile and nimble for the 21st century.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like I'm hearing a bit of a kind of subject matter expert approach to a space that's been around for a long time that needs that type of innovation.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I'm glad you mention that because that is a strong differentiator for us. We hear oftentimes from buyers and our own clients that other people that they've worked with, which could possibly be deemed our competitors, it's kind of a one and done. They sign them up and get them implemented and then walk away and come back a couple of months before it's time for renewal. We, on the other hand, we're there. We have an analytic and strategic consulting team that is either available for paid services or they do a lot that is just part of our regular contract. A lot of hand-holding, advising, recommending, certainly helping people understand how to use the platform and get the most out of it. We don't want to just sell and walk away, because when the time comes for renewal, you may say, man, I don't know if we have the value out of this. So we like to be there alongside you all every step and make sure that you are getting the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are just taking like that extra step or going the extra mile from like a professional services perspective to provide them with the experts that they might need in order to provide the best service, right? I love that. That's something that investors are going to look at to see you guys see how like the level of service that you're actually providing and how valuable that is. So that sounds really interesting. So, kind of changing subjects just a little bit, you're on the marketing team, right? We talked a little about like who you guys are targeting, maybe what separates you in the market. But I'd love to just kind of hear like from your perspective being a marketing, like what are your challenges? Like what are you focused on today in the marketing department?
Yeah, so I joined Springbuk about 2.5 years ago, and this was October of 2020. So a few months into the pandemic, lots of changes going on. The company was a little bit in flux because they had sent everyone home and people were still trying to deal with that. Mm-hmm. They were also trying to go up market at that point. To that point in the company's history, we had been selling largely to employers with 7,500 or fewer employees. And as I mentioned, we're more now up market. So we had a huge challenge in awareness. A lot of the larger employers didn't know who Springbuk was or what we could do for them. So that was my challenge immediately. And we focused a lot of effort and attention and energy that first year and a half of my tenure here just on getting the name out, helping people understand who is Springbuk and what can we do for you. We've since mostly conquered that. We are not hearing anymore that people don't know who we are when we reach out to them. Oh yeah, I know who Springbuk is. So yay for us. We've conquered that. Now it's just helping them understand our differentiators and what we can do for them in the long run.
Gotcha. So it sounds like the focus necessarily wasn't like a conversion kind of right away, but it was more of a focus on branding, maybe doing ads, a focus on social, the messaging, probably even some product marketing. Would you say that kind of encapsulates where you guys were in marketing?
Yeah, exactly. We have what I would consider very modest budget. So we have to spend every penny wisely. We chose to focus a lot of our budget in digital campaigns. So ads, we do have an incredible tech stack. I'm very blessed with the tech stack that we have. I've never worked at a company that had a stronger one. So we have tools that help us determine the intent of a website visitor or someone who views an ad. So we can gain knowledge of where they are in their buying journey and what they're looking for, who else they're looking at. And so not just us, but which of our competitors they might be examining. And that helps us refine the messages that we put out in front of them. So we use all that intel to create ads based around keywords that we know people are searching on. And then we wrote blogs against those terms and those phrases and just tried to focus as much activity as we could on those top 8 to 10 keywords or phrases that we knew were really resonating in the market.
Very cool. Yeah, that's where, we see the most value from SEO is actually writing about the things and interlinking and backlinking everything together around those top questions that people are actually asking, and you guys answering that and keeping people on your website. So I can fully agree with like that strategy there as kind of that second evolution for you, as you get the branding out there, but then it's just SEO and getting people to that website continuously. And then it's conversion, right? Now thinking about the sales funnel and go-to-market tools you guys have on the website. I'm assuming you're talking about companies like 6sense and Qualified, right? Which is kind of like that next evolution, in my opinion, in go-to-market tools to give you the intelligence to know, okay, how is our marketing actually translating into website visitors and making sure like we're getting the right people to the website from the messaging that you're doing, right? And getting your ICP to continue to reach out and talk to the team. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you guys are definitely making those headways in the right direction to see like, okay, like this is how we can help now boost revenue, and revenue generation is to get those tools in place to help make your sales team more equipped to those conversations.
Yeah, you must have done your research, because you named two of our outstanding tech stack tools. There are 6sense and Qualified.
Yeah.
6sense in particular has been phenomenal for us, a fantastic tool. Our sales team uses it. Of course, all of marketing lives by it, and it's been extremely valuable for us.
Yeah, it's a best in class tool for sure for growing and revenue generating. So I love it too. I always love getting those reports. But it's also helpful, on the marketing side, right, to run ABM campaigns, have better targeted type campaigns to those accounts too. So when you have those audiences set up, it makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, just being able to really, really fine tune the message for the audience. We have so many different small segments that it would just be practically impossible to manage manually in any sort of way. But the tools allow us to really make fine slivers of our segments. And then, of course, as you know, whenever you can get your group to be really finely tuned, then you can also tune the messages that you are putting in front of them, so they think, wow, these people really get me. They're speaking my language.
Exactly. Personalization matters more than ever these days. It's not like, you can just reach out to someone and expect to close a deal. Like you have to tell them like, hey, why? I always love to, my CMO at my last company loved to use this, like, why me? Why now? Why should I even care? If you can answer any of those questions, you have to do it through personalization, but if you can answer those questions, you're giving yourself the best opportunity to start a conversation. So
yeah, we use what's in it for me all the time, but I love yours. That's a great one. I'm gonna steal that.
You bet. Well, how are you guys planning to grow and scale, right? I know there's a lot going on the marketing team. I know you guys have your own podcast. I want to give you a second to chat about that here in a little bit, but like, how are you planning to grow and scale and continue to get the name out there?
We have some strong partnerships that are helping open doors for us. And those partnerships are both technology partners, as well as we work with a couple of alliances that they pull in employers of all different types. They're usually at a certain size, so they're pulling from many different industries, but their goal is to share best practices. Maybe even their ultimate goal is to share data across their industries with one another, and determine better, what are the programs that we need to be offering here, and stealing. I use the term stealing, but creatively borrowing, I guess, the best ideas from outside of their own industry, because it's easy to get siloed within your industry and maybe have a little bit of tunnel vision. So this is opening them up to innovators across the country and across different markets. And those types of alliances are looking at us as leaders in our space, and they're seeing the value that the analytics that we can bring to them.
Gotcha. So I'm hearing setting up strategic channel partners for potential references and new customers. I'm also hearing a bit of investment in sales intelligence data to give the sales team just more ammunition. Am I summing that up correctly? And is that marketing's focus, or is that a company-wide focus?
That is a company-wide focus, and you nailed it.
Okay. Love it. Yeah, these are the things that people need to hear. Like in different rep because there's inbound streams trying to drive people to the website, through kind of SEO, blog writing, right? Being found online through social, getting people there. There's obviously elements of outbound marketing and sales development to drive people to the website. And then you guys are investing in the right types of tools on the website to capitalize on that as well, but also thinking about other ways that you guys can partner up with people in the space and people that can potentially refer you guys partners or new customers is, again, trying to create that additional pipeline for the team to grow. So
Right.
yeah, I love it. I love it. You get me fired up here about Springbuk.
Yeah, one of the challenges when you are trying to go up market and sell to those Fortune 100 companies is they want to partner with innovative companies, but they also want to partner with companies that they can have trust in, and they like to see a track record. When you're breaking in, that's hard to do, right? Because somebody has to be first. Somebody has to be that first 100,000 or 200,000 employee company to take a chance on the small startup and say, yeah, these guys seem to have their crap together here. We've broached that now. So we have several of those large employers that are seeing what we can do. We have the established track record. And so they are helping to spread the word and take us broader now.
Very cool. Yeah, trust is a huge component for sure. And all it takes is one, right?
Yep.
All it takes is one. So I
Somebody
can
has
see
to be the
why.
domino.
Yeah, and that's why it's important as well. Like once you get that one, then you can start thinking about, okay, those channel partnerships. That's how we can continue to get our name out there and get that recommendation.
Right.
So what's something that you want to be celebrating like a year from now? Is it a specific, metric, or what's like your North Star you want to say, hey, like this is something I need to do by April of next year?
Yeah. So a year from now, I want to be celebrating my retirement. Yeah, it's not going to happen, but that's what I want. But no, seriously, I think a year from now, our company is in a great position. We are seeing really strong growth, and our pipeline is really good right now for the rest of the year. Enterprise deals take a long time to close in most cases, over a year. So some of these partnerships are helping accelerate some of that a bit, which is outstanding. We love to see that. The economy, of course, everybody's still on pins and needles with what's happening here, but we're still doing well. So those are all really encouraging signs for us. And I love the team that I'm on, both my leadership team and the marketing team that I work with closely every day. I'm just so fortunate to have such talented and creative people to work with. So at this point next year, I would love to look back and say we achieved levels that Springbuk has never achieved before, and 2024 is set up to be even better.
I'm going out on top.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? That's quite the goal, and I love it. I love it. Well, I know we'd love to help you get there and be a partner with you guys too. So as we wrap things up here, is there anything else that you'd like to share, David, that you think we haven't covered, or you think our listeners need to know about you or the company that we didn't touch on?
You did a great job of bringing out all the highlights here, and I really love how you tied everything together. It's clear that you understand, and we haven't talked much, so it's clear that you understand how to put the pieces together and make the connections that are important for marketers to be able to achieve their goals. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking more with you.
Yeah, you bet. Let's do it. I'll give you the mic though. How can people find you, David? Feel free to plug where you're going to be. Plug your own podcast. That's how kind of we got to know each other a little bit. So yeah, I want to make sure you have the floor to talk about that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So you can find me, of course, on LinkedIn. It is David A. Pittman. So check me out there. I am less active these days on Twitter. I think Twitter is still alive today. Yeah, we'll see what's going on with Twitter. Twitter and Instagram, and both of those, I am the Social Pitt with 2 T's, Pitt. So hit me up there, and please check out our podcast. It's called, it's a little irreverent name, Healthcare on the Rocks benefits with a twist. So we've got a little bit of a pseudo drinking theme. We do a cheers at the end of it, but we talk with anybody across the healthcare and insurance spectrum. So if you happen to be one of those people, reach out to me. We'd love to have you be a guest, but certainly check out the podcast. And then lastly, Springbuk is springbukbuk.com. So check us out there.
Perfect. I love the pun. Gotta love a good pun. Weave that in.
Gotta stand out somehow.
Yeah. I appreciate being here, David. I definitely feel like I've gotten to know you and Springbuk and what you guys got going on. It sounds like there's a lot of great things there. So I appreciate you being here and being a part of the podcast with us.
Max, thank you so much for the opportunity. I enjoyed it.
You bet. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Everyone have a great rest of the day. Cheers.